Perfect beauty of God, exquisite light. Beauty is not a word that is used very often unless it's something physical. But the beauty of God has no reference actually to the form of the body at all. It is a beauty that has been creating and living as the light of God for all eternity. To accept the beauty of God that you are is to walk in this world embracing every beloved in that same beauty. To have the intention that everywhere that you go, that you can be struck by the beauty that is all creation. To see beyond the physical form of anything and of everything is part of the journey of remembering. It's what comes with your heart opening and your willingness to see through the heart of God the truth of all creation. When someone is admiring of something in this world, it's usually on the physical form that the admiration comes. Sometimes it's a rare jewel, or the shape of a car, or the beauty of a tree when it's in bloom. But love is calling you to go beyond the physical form, to truly see the essence of creation where it is, in everyone and in everything. The programming of the ego has been to judge everything first and look later. But love is calling you to surrender all judgments and look with your heart and see the divine. As you see the divine, it heals your heart. It heals your mind. It enforces and reinforces the harmony that exists within all creation in holy union. Is this a practice that could be all day long? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is this different? Is this a different practice than other spiritual practices from other sects of doctrines. Some. But how is this different than the Buddhist monks that part of their spiritual practice is to focus completely on their breath and the moving of their feet? And as they walk and concentrate on their feet, it is to heal the mind and to only focus on the beauty that is present in every moment. The beauty of your breath is a love affair that you could enter into. To contemplate the beauty of your every breath is to connect with the divine. Every moment of your every day has the potential of tremendous healing. The ego would like you to think that the outside framework of the everyday life is what's the most important thing to pay attention to, the form of everything, and the judgment that goes along with it from the past. But love is truly calling you to have a spiritual practice that enhances constantly your awareness and your connection with love. Everything in every sacred teaching points to a deeper practice. It isn't meant to be tedious. It isn't meant to be a burden. It can be transformed into a great joy of communion that occurs in your everyday. If you begin to want to see beyond the form and want to see the beauty of God everywhere, it will reveal itself, because nothing that you truly want and that is of love will be denied. It takes patience, because it's like waiting for a flower to bloom. If you stand there long enough with a flower that hasn't bloomed yet, you will begin to see it bloom. The ego does not want you to have patience. The ego demands impatience. It demands instant gratification. It demands answers. It demands that there's an agreement with knowing. And it demands judgment, first and foremost. Judgment is the lifeline for the ego. It counts on it, depends on it, because without judgment, you won't be an ally to it. So, of course, Spirit calls you to let go, and refuse judgment in every way possible. The only thing that holds judgment in place really is the belief that your judgment has worth, that it actually not only has worth, but has true value, and that it keeps you safe, that it makes your life easier and safer. Every beloved has been sold a bill of goods. From the moment of incarnation, judgment is rewarded, encouraged, and used as a self-protection. To surrender judgment is to actually open the door of love and wisdom through guidance. Imagine that you would be looking at someone, and everything in you wants to have an assessment and an opinion about them in whatever way is normal and habitual. And you hear the voice of love calling to you. And the voice of love is calling to you to join in love and to see beyond what you think you can see. And to listen to that voice of love and join in the heart to begin the opening of holy vision. The holy vision that is your true nature. This is not a game that is about who's a better channel or anything like that, but really that in the quiet, humble yes, you're willing to open to God's vision and see everything through love. When you're willing to see through love and hear through love, you're coming home. You are aligning with the vibration of truth, and you will find the truth of yourself in that holy vision. Everything that you see that is the beauty of God, everything that you're willing to remove all assessments and all judgments, opens you more and more, and you begin to see yourself through that holy vision. It's not about any way about the outside at all, but to connect with your divine worth is a direct ricochet of seeing that divine worth in everything outside. As you see the world, you will see yourself. As you no longer judge, have opinions of any kind, your heart blossoms like that flower. You've spent lifetimes in defense and protection. Most of it unconsciously, some of it consciously. And in this lifetime, you can transform and meet your divine self. There is no reason, none, that would stop you. There is nothing in God that does not want this for all creation. And there is nothing that will not be provided for you in your willingness to be healed. And this is healing. To want to see the divinity that lives in everything. You could ask, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of to see the divinity in everything? Well, most of the time, everybody would say, I'm not afraid at all. And that may be. But something is still saying no. And that no is fear. To see divinity and to see the reflection of divinity within yourself, the ego says that you won't be able to function normally anymore, that you won't be able to walk in this world in connection with the regular life. Well, it all depends on what you consider to be a regular life. A regular life for most is the focus on the value of the form. The value of the form takes precedent in most beloveds' lives unconsciously, because the ego is based on scarcity. And in the belief of scarcity, everyone has listened to the voice of fear that says, you're on your own. You're on your own in this world, and you better figure it out. Everybody has heard that voice in the past. And it takes faith and trust to refuse that voice. Refuse the voice because it has absolutely no truth in it. It's upside down. Your peace, your harmony, your happiness develops in union. The more you see the blessings and the perfection of each beloved, the more you begin to open to the family of creation. That is your family. That is our family. And the fear begins to drop off because you have faith that you cannot be left without. It's a promise, it's not a knowing. And yet, it is what God is promising. And in faith, to accept that promise of happiness, of peace, of the truth of your beauty, is to deny the past, truly deny the past, because everything that is in the past says struggle is real, scarcity is real, betrayal is real. Well, hatred is real, fear is real, the list goes on. And the denial of all that is not of love is essential. Not in battle, but in joy. In joy that only the beauty of truth is real. Only the peace of truth is real. And it is waiting for you because it is what you are. God is one with you. And the you is all creation. You will not lose in union. You will not be without in the holy union of oneness. In this moment, look at the beauty and ask to see the beauty that is surrounding you. Ask for that divine inner vision that is natural, to see with your heart the truth that surrounds you. It can be so simple. Why would anyone need to bless their food before they eat their food? Because it's a rule? No. But when you recognize the blessings of your nourishment, just as one simple little element, you recognize the blessings of your nourishment, and you recognize the beauty of it, and who is actually supplying it, what is actually supplying that. It is the beauty of God. Offer that nourishment to all creation. Offer it from your heart. That doesn't mean that you're going around with a bread basket necessarily, but it is holding all creation in the abundance of truth. And how beautiful that abundance is. No lack, no loss, only love. In this moment, accepting that love, accepting the beauty, and affirming that you are willing to live in that divine union. Not only willing, but happy. To be in the natural state of union. And this union has nothing to do with socially acceptable behaviors or anything. It comes from the heart, the quietness, and it extends consciously. The beauty of your day awakens from your heart. Affirming in this moment that this sanctuary is filled with love. Feel the love. The love is the natural state. Even if you're not aware of the love that you are in the moment, assume that you can only be that love. Even if you don't feel it, even if you don't recognize it, it's all that is. And the comfort of that truth will carry you until your awareness opens. The universe is all love. All love. Nothing else exists. And in this moment, the acceptance that there is only one presence, and that presence is the life force of God. And that presence is within you completely. It is what you are. And within that life force, we live and move and breathe in complete union, in complete harmony. There's nothing to be cautious about. In opening the heart. There's nothing to be cautious about extending love. Right now, only love. If there is only one heart, and I promise you there is only one heart, it is the sacred heart of all life. And that heart dwells within us. And it is God. It is the life force of God. Acceptance, moment to moment. And when doubt shows up, denial. Deny the doubt. Deny the past. And just say yes. Yes to love. This first prayer was a prayer that I received in the throes of agony, which seemed to be there most of the time. But this prayer that was presented by the Divine Mother, that was given by the Divine Mother, was an anchor of first being honest, and secondly, recognizing where the healing power was. That through Spirit, through the Divine Mother and Father, everything could be healed. And putting all bets bare. Mother, oh my mother, release me from this pain. Mother, oh my mother, release me from this pain. This pain has been my life. Only you can set me free. Your love can set me free. Mother, oh my mother, release me from this pain. Mother, oh my mother, release me from this pain. I want to be with you. I want to know your love. Please help me, my mother, to feel your love. I want to know your love. The simplicity of your heart can break through any barriers, absolutely any barriers. Your longing, your wanting, and even the recognition of the agony of the past being surrendered and being denied is your healing. To open the door of healing is to accept that healing is real, that it is yours for the asking, always. No one has to earn healing. No one has to find secret ingredients of healing. Healing is in the asking. And it isn't in the asking because there is a need for you to grovel. It is in the asking because it is our choice to stay as in the knowing of the past or in truly asking for the healing that will erase everything that was not the truth of you. Also, in healing, is the realization that love is always there to bring healing to you, and that the dawn has arrived, the new day, the new relationship of love. The dawn has arrived resplendently. The dawn has arrived of the new day. My Father is here. That is where He is, and my mother is here, right here. The dawn has arrived, illuminating resplendently the new day. My mother is here with open arms and with her roses of crystal purity. And the heart becomes resplendent and blooms with all this love. My mother is here, yes, she is, and my Father is here in great jubilation, resplendently illuminating. It is dawn, the sun has risen. In the resplendence of the divine light, our mother brings us the truth of love itself. The sun has risen, illuminating as we all receive the truth of love. In the truth of love, all creation is the child of perfection. All creation is the love itself. And it is now here, resting in the heart. Amanheceu, resplandeceu, amanheceu um novo dia. Meu Pai é lá, ela que ela está, minha mãe está, é o seu altar. Amanheceu, iluminou, resplandeceu um novo dia. Minha mãe está lá, de braços abertos, e suas rosas puras e de cristal resplandeceu o coração de saboroso, todo é o amor. Minha mãe está lá sim, lá está meu Pai, em grande júbilo. O sol nasceu, iluminou, vamos receber o Salvador. Ele é menino, ele é o amor, que agora chega aos corações. This hymn is joyous and resplendent in all the beauty of the sun, the moon, and the stars, and in the everyday life. And it's calling to not be cautious about the love in your heart, but to truly celebrate that you don't have to stay in the past, to celebrate that God's healing is for you, just for the asking, just for the yes. And the joy of this prayer comes because of that recognition in the beloved Jose who received this hymn. Happy for everyone, happy for humanity, happy for creation, that the journey was one of healing and love. Lie around and get zonked out. If we were devoted, it would be enough that just one great prophet would have to make a personal appearance on earth. He or she could have easily fixed some important things forever, written a book that really gave us the total lowdown, and that no right-wing fanatic dare edit. God in human form, as some have called the avatar, or world teacher, seemingly could have easily shown us some tasty herb cocktails that could cure any illness of the mind that humans could ever know. But looks like it does not work that way. And what of us mules who like the harness? What would the workhorses in this world do without some imaginary cause or situation we felt needed to be championed or scotch-taped? Heaven forbid, everyone might become happy doing basically nothing, except to lie around and get zonked out on the wonder of our being. The world teaches that you have to work hard and you have to put your nose to the grindstone and follow that route. But everything of love says there is no effort. What does it mean in the teaching, I need do nothing? It's a deep study. I need do nothing. Rest in God, and I need do nothing. To give the mind to the divine, it is the secret. You can't do anything personally if your mind is given to God. You are expressing God's mind when you give your mind to God. When you are no longer willing to think you know personally what's most helpful, but that you trust more deeply that you can put your faith and trust in God, that the answer will be perfect, whatever it is for whatever situation. That is where the happiness is. That is where the being zonked out is. That is where everybody could become happy doing basically nothing, because everyone would realize that there was nobody that was the doer, that it was all the divine orchestration of God's creation. That God can move through you and speak and offer love is not a fairy tale. It is reality. That love that is the creation of the universe is within you, and it's just waiting to wake up. And the more that you offer your heart, every time you offer your heart, the sleep leaves a little bit. And the strength of God becomes more and more obvious. The strength of God is not the strength of the form. It is a strength of your spirit that is waking up. And your heart is, of course, right in the center. And your mind is given to God. And you can get zonked out because your life is in the hands of God. And all the things in your everyday life become God's things. Imagine that you rely on God, on your guides, for, we call it guidance, but communication that you have with you at all times, the divine intelligence of the universe that will direct you. And yet the ego fear says, no, I want to do it myself, when life could be so brilliantly easy in letting that divine truth speak to you all the time. If we were more devoted, it would have been enough that just one great prophet would have made an appearance on earth. That may be, but revel in the gratitude for all the prophets that have come on this earth to serve love's remembering. It's really an amazing thing to pick up a teaching and be actually stunned by a teaching that is so perfect and exquisite and pierces your heart. And that you're in the same connection with that divine being who gave that teaching and brought it to you, that you are in the same atmosphere with them, and that you are one, that you are the same. And the blessing that you're taking in is yours. It doesn't belong anymore to the prophet or the teacher that was inspired by it or came through them. It's now yours. And that's true of every sacred teaching. They're yours. They're precious, they're beautiful, they're transforming, and they're yours. You don't have to earn them. You don't have to join a club, pay your dues. Just accept them and let them lead your life. Because every single teaching that is of truth wants your happiness, wants your awakening. There's no tricks going on in the world of love. And what of us mules who like the harness? What would the workhorses in this world do without some imaginary cause? That is the letting go, the imaginary cause. You don't have to have an imaginary cause. You won't see it as an imaginary cause. You'll be seeing it as a real cause, but you don't have to have any cause that is not offered to you by the divine. Put everything into the hands of God and let yourself be led to what is most helpful to serve. The journey would go really, really straight and fast in just that surrender. Because the resistance is what causes the drag. The resistance is what causes the pain of what seems to be the spiritual journey. Can healing be easy? Absolutely. Do most of us make healing easy? Absolutely not. I had a healer at one time look down at me while I was in a healing, and he looked down at me and he said, "What are you doing?" And I had to open my eyes. And he was looking at me with this dumbfounded look. And all I could think of was, I'm working against it. I'm determined. And that ran. And that was the most important healing, was to stop resisting, to just trust deeper every day that I didn't have to resist. What was I resisting? Yes, there was fear. Absolutely, fear kept coming up. But at some point, it was, shut up. I don't want to listen to this anymore. This fear that appears is the great rebellion. And it was a habit that had to be denied. Denied because it was illusion. Was it a leap of faith? Absolutely, it was a leap of faith. And there was not a knowing what was on the other side of it. But there was a trust, enough faith, that I put my faith in the teachings of love. And that is what every beloved is being called to, is to put your faith moment to moment in the teachings of love. Your prayers are the power within you that are the connecting place into truth. Prayer is a exquisite communion, because when you pray, first you may use prayers that are already established because they prime the pump. They give you permission to express your heart. They give you permission to be vulnerable and more open than maybe you have been in the past. But it's also the prayers that come from your heart, your soul, that are the most healing for you. It isn't that God has to hear your prayers. God already is aware of your prayers. God knew them before you knew them. But it is essential for you to pray and to express your longing, to express your wanting of the journey to be as easy as possible, and for you to be willing to find the willingness within you of surrendering the fear and the resistance. I've said many times that I had a prayer that would catch me almost every time. And the prayer was, take everything that I've made up and leave only the truth. And even as I was affirming that prayer, I could feel the shaking and quaking of having everything stripped away that was not of God. But it also brought me to greater strength every time I prayed that prayer. With every time that I affirmed that prayer within my heart, I got stronger. There wasn't a strength that anyone could really pinpoint, but it was a strength within that was a confidence in God. It was not a confidence in the me, it was a confidence in the truth of God and the willingness to live there. Every day it would be helpful to affirm in an upside down kind of way that pain is illusion, that fear is illusion, that pain is deception, that fear is deception. Because eventually they will have no place where they belong. Where you think they belong now is just because they've always been there. But as you surrender and you accept joy as your reality, as you accept joy as truth, all the deceptions will no longer be wanted. And before you're even fully aware, everything becomes lighter. Everything becomes easier because of your trust and your faith. That is what builds within you the strength of God, which translates to truth and faith. Is healing possibly easy? Yes. Your yes. Yes, 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 yes. And let it be. There is a teaching that I was struck by. Without your own protection, without your allegiance and love, the ego cannot exist. Now that's startling, because most of the time the idea of the ego says, this is just happening to me. I'm not choosing this, it's just what is. But if you take away the protection and the allegiance and the love that you have given to the identity that you have in the past believed that you were, then love can enter and show you where your allegiance would be really totally healing. So love is asking you to turn the allegiance away from the past, away from your fears, away from your habits, because all the habits that have developed within everybody are part of the allegiance and part of the protection. The habits may seem really non-connected, but every habit gives the ego a place to settle of, I know this. I know this and I can count on this being as I want it to be. But that I is in the allegiance to a false identity. And it's just asking, love is asking you to put your allegiance with love and to no longer put your faith in the habits and in your knowing and in your judgment, because that's what holds it all together. That's the allegiance, that's the protection of the ego identity. And love is calling to surrender that and bring it back to love. Here is the semi-little prayer that's given by Jesus that is used to deny the ego and the love and the protection and the allegiance. I will not look because I know these images are not true. I will not look. I will not allow my mind to fantasize about what I think I know about any situation, either from the past or that's still in the future, I will not look there. I will surrender into the hands of God and ask for guidance of what would be most helpful, and to have my mind at peace and my heart open, because that's all that there is that simplicity. I will not look because I know these images are not true. Now, in that declaration, you are actually saying, I know that these images are not true. But even if you don't know that these images are not true, if they're not peaceful, if they're not harmonious, if they're not joyous, they're made up. And that becomes the simplicity, the checkpoint. It is so luxurious to have a checkpoint of healing that you can not have to wander in confusion, but that it can be so clear that if this is not a thought or an experience of peace, it's made up. And you can refuse it and say yes to peace, yes to harmony. To declare that this thought is not of God, it will disappear. And the truth will reveal itself, because love wants you to come home. All of love is encouraging you constantly, but it's not in an awareness necessarily. But the more that you only want peace, the more you connect with the universe and its divine peacefulness. You're living then in the universe of love, where you belong, not outside in another identity. Why do I want to perceive 1,000 forms and opinions for what can only be one? All of these self-questions are to almost like charge your battery. To charge your battery every day and say, this is my day. This is my day of peace. This is my day of love. This is my day of harmony. I don't want anything else. And that is then what will be available to you, because it's what you want. You have that much power. You have the power of the universe within you. You have the power of choice within you that is exquisite, temporary, but exquisite, to really make the choice of love constantly. Not because you'll be good, but because it's loving to yourself, and because it's your natural state. Love is your natural state. It isn't something foreign. It isn't an oddity. It isn't a strange spiritual concoction. It's your natural state, and the willingness to live there. Nothing beyond yourself can make you fearful or loving. That is completely the choice in the everyday. Because nothing beyond yourself is changing your relationship with fear or love. It's all choice, moment to moment. But don't be afraid of that moment to moment choice. It's the first time in your life that you are tapping into the power of the universe through choice. In the past, You thought you had no choice except between two factions of made up stuff. But now you're aware that you have a choice. And nothing outside you can make you either fearful or loving. But you have the power to choose. And you have that power to choose actually to bring that love to everyone that you have contact with, whether it's just in your mind or it's physical. And everyone from the past, you have the power to bless them, to see them as the light of God, and to trust only in love. A glorious journey in the everyday, ordinary life. I've pulled this out before. Do you believe in what you know? That's a question for within. If everything you think that you know has been made from your own talents and ambitions and even the personality self made through arrogance, do you believe you can decide what's truly helpful for yourself? These are questions that are meant to be helpful to self-examine what's running. How do you know what's truly helpful if your ego mind is devoted to arrogance? Now, no one is going to be walking around saying, I'm devoted to arrogance. But this is part of the journey within of recognizing pride, arrogance, and also to begin to truly recognize humility as your natural state, where there's nothing for you to prove and nothing to defend ever, because you are just the light of God. With true humbleness dawns, you can no longer tolerate doing or speaking anything unless it is obviously coming from the alignment with Spirit. There is this beautiful place where you can't stand it, that anything from the past that is self-aggrandizing or self-promoting or self-centered has any purpose anymore. Because your heart is the center of your universe, and within your heart is God. And there is nothing to have to prove. It is only the Spirit's use of words which are truly helpful. That in and of itself will lead the way, wanting to hear the Spirit's words. Yet in order to use our words and deeds, Spirit must be given everything of ourselves. That's very true. This is very humbling. Your true helpfulness is given into the control of the Christ. Turned over. Show me the way. I'm willing to follow and I'm willing to listen. This is the experience of joy. That place of humility, of truth, of love, that is no longer willing to battle in any way because there is no need for battle. Accept the will of God in true humility, and all that you think you made will disappear, and love will take the place of self-deception. We lay aside the arrogance which proclaims that we are damaged, guilty, and afraid, and we lift our hearts in true humility, in surrender to our intricate, immaculate, true selves. This moment is that moment. The power of your yes in your prayers, in your intention, in your heart, in your mind, is the power that calls to God, and it is always answered. You are always answered. There's never an exception to this. Accept the will of God. Well, everybody can say, yes, I accept the will of God. But we can't know the will of God unless we're asking for guidance. How would we know the will of God in the moment-to-moment life? Until we open that doorway and start listening to the will of God to lead us, guide us, show us, teach us, to want to learn the mysteries of God's love, to want to connect, because it's our life. It's where we truly exist. When Hafiz speaks of the prophet, of the avatar, that's not a special being. That is a beloved who's walked through the journey and refused to not accept the truth of love. And that is everyone. You become the bringer of light and love because it's what you are. And all you have to do is accept it. Accepting it and living it. Can you wake up in the morning and revel and accept, I am the light of God. I am here to bless. I am here to offer God's love and God's will. And I am here to rest in God's will, because everything is given. Everything is love. No exceptions, none at all. And be happy to be zonked out in love. There's nothing more painful and fearful than trying to hold together a false identity, trying to contain and control a false identity. The identity that you brought from the past is the false identity. And there's nothing in that false identity that needs to be defended. God is calling to bring that false identity to the light and let it be illuminated so that it can disintegrate. All of the idea of struggle, pain, opinions, judgments, defenses, all of it dropping away. No longer wanted or needed because it doesn't have any purpose or any value. Value only what has worth, which is love. And let the rest disappear. In the healing of love, Spirit removes what you no longer want. That's how healing occurs. It disappears because you don't want it anymore. Not because you hate it, but because it's just not your reality. It's not true of you. It's just illusion. But we can't, in the healing, we can't discern what is true and what is not true. But love can. Love shows the way. And love points the way. And in many ways, it's so easy because it's just pain, fear, hatred. Surrender it. Throw it into the bonfire of love because it's not the truth of you. You are not fear. You are not hate, and you are not death. You are the life force of God. It can be accepted now, and then accepted every day, in every moment. And joyously celebrate that truth, because this can be the lifetime of remembering. This is what time is for. This is what incarnation is for. And the veil is very, very thin. And you have all the help of the universe at your disposal. Mother, oh my mother, release me from this pain. And there is release.